Hello everyone, I hope you are having a good day. Let's continue reading some Birthright as we were in chapter 5. Right here. Let's continue. Reporting live from St. Martin's Junior High just outside Metropolis, where moments ago two students carrying a gym bag full of firearms wounded a security guard and started inside a reported shooting spree. Terrified cell phone message from inside reports no fatalities as of yet, but hostage negotiations have been complicated by the arrival of the mysterious figure known so far only as Superman, who seconds ago, ignoring police barricades, flew into the school and oh my god, Tom, get down! Ladies and gentlemen, school windows are exploding in a hall of gunfire? Tom, get a shot of this! I remind viewers we live on the scene where some man is brought to the teenager into custody in a matter of moments. Superman, can we have a word with you? Superman? No word as he has since his arrival in Metropolis last week. This Superman has left the scene of righted chaos as quickly as he arrived, wrapped in silence and a red cloak. This is Ben Nathan reporting from. The boys said they brought those weapons from you. Oh, where are you? I know some kids. That's a black market. I don't know what you're talking about. I can hear your heartbeat. You're lying. 1 minute ago, I saw a little girl screaming because she was staring down the barrel of a gun. She was 9, and she will remember it for the rest of her life. Now you'll too. Free start back. Raise your hands. I don't think you can, sir. What? Faster than a speeding bullet. Accountable for submarine shooting, 14-year-old shooting under prison. A gun shop owner accused of selling firearms underage and loans in cosmic Clemente, apprehended the city by new Superman. Any planet. Government local authorities disavows knowledge of Superman. By Peter Hughes, despite being granted with rescue of dozens of 85 days in this debate, state law enforcement officials have warned citizens to be careful of trusting Superman readily. We have no idea what he is or his motives could be. Caution Government Baker. Even Guardian Angels must have some Air Force. When Parker superheroes up pay drug rings, look man the wires. Superman, you're a vigilante. Where do you stand? Vote. Yes, he's proving himself. No, I don't trust him. Vote. Anybody know where Lois is? Same place she is every morning at 8:45. And Troop's story, you let him get by with second-hand sources again? Come on, Chief. You're better editor than that. And you're really sure McFarlane belongs on the crime beat, Chief? Isn't it more of a features guy? I always thought he was a features guy. Hey, you know it would be better for National Solway? I don't understand why you don't use him more. We'll pick the photograph. Chief, that's really annoying. See, I wouldn't have gone with that angle. I know, you know what I mean. Keeper, fire, best rider, good intentions, triple slur, don't take, no place to hide their body. No boundaries despite the events. 270's last two, won't take no foreigners. Chief, receptionists say you have a call online through. Don't call me Chief! Head roaring. Jimmy, you didn't take this photo, did you? Can't hear you. Wait, ears bleeding. Can't? I just got word from Lex Luthor's office. People claim Luthor himself has to meet you. An invitation harder to come by than a paintball in your office. And you postponed? Aye, twice? The dog strike, sorry, can wait. Luthor is one of the most important figures in the city, one of the most innovative inventors of the world. He requests to be interviewed, and you didn't jump out? Can't. What planet are you from? This is supposed to be Lois, sorry. Ah, no, it's Barry. Lois, take Kent over to Lexorp and show him how it is done. Now! You're slowing me up. Sorry. You can tell Perry I know the ropes by now. You realize you're sick of babysitting me. True, but the true value add is that I get to spar with Lex, which gives me an outlet for my rage. So I'll deal. Disavow? No, it's Pardon? Today leads. That's what's shaping me my butt. Perry could have found a million ways to spin that Superman story, so they weren't endorsing fear. I'm sure Mr. White didn't intend to. I've been following this story longer than anyone, right? If there's an authority on Superman, it's me. Not Barry, not anyone else at the planet. Do we have an appointment? Press. I know you're here. And when whether Superman called yet, that's not the point. Because it's not like I'm sitting by the phone waiting for his call, even though he has had my number for 168 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm not counting. Lane can't see big man, thanks. I want to stake my reputation on my subjective opinion. He's here to trust, he's here to help, and we can trust him. And he's not. And he's hot. That's not. Just buzz us in already. And tell the senator to stop claiming that I'm trying to cooperate a vaccine for AIDS. Just trademark. Yeah, you gotta keep that Luthor name alive somehow. I think there's a woman in Pennsburg, Maine who hasn't heard it. And yet I work hard to make her life better nonetheless. Miss Lane, receptionists say the planet had sent 2 bulldogs. That must make you Mr. Kent. Hello, Lex. It's been a long time since Smallville. Mr. Kent, I'm not familiar with Smallville. If you're claiming that you and I have met before, that makes the second time you lied about me this week. When did I asked you here for 2 reasons. First, to let you know how displeased I was with your story regarding the helicopter attack on Metropolis. You accused me of being somehow irresponsible. Now, I simply point out the connection between LexCorp and I read the piece, Kent. You're insinuating and was quite clear and not at all amusing. I appreciate your anger, but not anger, disappointment. That what color hire such amateur my being unaware of every tiny action of Lexor Fastap is, if not desirable, even it understandable. Your concentration on trivial minutiae, however, is in face of a much larger truth that threatens the entire world is unforgivable. Translation? You're missing the big story. Allow me to spell it out for you. Dr. Aaron has this morning that has been input. Yes, Miss Author. Splendid. And let's get the poster. Let me show you where I do my thinking. No need to leave. He'll come to us. Here's something about LexCorp that's often taken for granted. The vast majority of our patents and discoveries, from new aircraft designs right down to basic home improvements, have their foundation in the study of astrobiology. The study of extraterrestrial life? Gee, Luther, what do you know that we don't? Said the Thimble to the bucket. Ever since I was a boy, I've been utterly fascinated by the possibility of alien life forms, like Mayer's and Sagan. For me, I'm convinced we're not alone in the universe. Take Neptune, for example. 30 times more distant from the Sun than is Earth's surface temperatures, at their highest 300 below Fahrenheit. What little sunlight reaches has to penetrate thick cloud banks. It's impossible to conceive that sentient organism could exist under such frigid dark conditions. Yet, our probes have granted sufficient evidence to ancient ice worms that could thrive there. Hypothetically, they'd feed on the geometrical energy created by injecting the planet's hydrogen and sulfur compounds. With that in mind, I designed a deep sea explorer unit that could do the same. I expect the pendant to come through next week. Mercury, of course, presents its own unique problems. Hotter than hot, solid like porous oil under the sun's rain. The only way for life to survive here, that it suggests, is to make its home the sky, gliding constantly through the sparse atmosphere on melancholine photon-reflecting wings. Taking our clue, we're fabricating spacecraft that can use similar sulfurous means to sail the stars. Last October, our instruments scattered information regarding a planet in the Proxima Centauri system where silicon, not carbon, would be the basis of. Not that isn't fascinating, Luther. Me, I just take hot bath when I need to meditate. But how is all this hollow theater rigmarole a front-way splash? It isn't. This, however, is. I've been cataloging the natural abilities Superman has thus demonstrated. His senses are inhuman. Eyewitnesses claim he has uncanny hearing, as well as eyes that can see ray and other energy wavelengths and even emit them in case of infrared. He can control his personal gravitational field. His muscles, presumably by processing solar radiation, the only conceivable sufficient energy source, can shatter diamond, and are sheeted in an epidermis stronger than titanium, yet common in appearance. Where do you suppose such a being comes from? Metropolis? Japan? Penspot, Maine? Try here, a mega-gravity planet dwarfing Jupiter, orbiting a star emitting only the dimmest of red light. By my best calculation, there are only these are the environment factoids which would force a humanoid to evolve ocular nerves and cellular tissues to Superman's exact specifications. This is your story, Miss Lane. Your so-called Superman isn't a man at all. He's an extraterrestrial, a strange visitor from another planet. And I have proof. That's a strong accusation, Luthor. I'm a clever man, Lois, and I must admit so is he. Why do you think he operates so openly? Why do you imagine he wears a costume so bright you could see it coming from miles? To cultivate our trust. The question is, to what end? What really is he hiding? You said you had proof, Lex. Irrefutable evidence, Mr. Kent. And in time, what is it? How do you know all this? In time, I will share. For now, let's be content simply to bask in my genius. I know that I'd be being out there more advanced than the ones that later this mudball. Who knows what we can learn from them? Let's go. Right behind you. T-bones connected to the backbone connected to the encrypted neural network. Do you think Luther's right? I don't know. Would it matter? I don't know. A long time ago, he doesn't seem to remember, which is his own mystery. Though to be honest, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't. When we first walked in, you acted like you and Lex were old friends. Shame though, maybe you could shed some light on his motives. White's big obsession with finding extraterrestrials. Looking back, I think he just wants someone to talk to. Birthright Editor-in-Chief. Write it up. On what basis, Mr. White? Until he presents his alleged evidence, it's all conjure on Luther's part. Right, and the key word in that sentence isn't conjecture, it's Luthor. What is his proof? What is his credibility? Other than years of proving himself to be the leading expert in his entire field? Are you kidding me? Isn't a crackpot theory, Kent? The very fact that Luther's making these claims about Superman is news. Either you write it up or else someone will. This is the career you wanted, Kent. Superman isn't your problem. None of us. Biologist Luther claims Superman is being from space by Clark Kent. And as to how this affects what people think of him, well... The engineer is stroking there. Is there doctors here? For God's sake, please, I want somebody to step forward. We'll simply just have to see. Congratulations, Phobe. The whole newsroom signed your card. Card? Happy birthday, dear Phobe. Monday. Lois, could you pass the... Lois? So anyway, I say to Perry to say, standardizing is out... Thursday. Wednesday. All done? Cut the lights. As soon enough? Not so, I noticed. Thursday. Lois! Good thing at all. I was headed to the wrong restaurant. Jimmy. Me too. I thought you fellas were across the street. Me too. What? But we were. But hey, Bear wants rewrite by morning. What? Code speak for let's all pretend to call it a night, then reconvene elsewhere. Wouldn't you masturbate ditch this time? The new guy. Trent? Kent. Wherever, which only reinforced my point. The guy has charisma of a mailbox. You hardly even realize he's even there, and then you remember he's standing next to you for 10 minutes. It's like he's going out of his way to be dull. Ash, he's just shy. He's strictly art section, page 4, under the fold. No one gives a damn about that. We want front page. Besides, he's not too shy. You realize he's got a crush on you. Who doesn't? I'm just saying. Go on. So he's dull. He's not a bore. You with the mind-numbing jumper guy. It's no crime to be quiet. You want him to wear a red cape. It's why to get your attention. Ha ha. Look, you could at least try to feel guilty about candy can't always of your little reindeer games. Yeah. And he's not hurting anybody. What if you walk in here right now and saw what you did to him? Then maybe it'd show a little emotion. Maybe we got a glimpse of what's inside that guy. Why, wouldn't that be so awful? Lois, I'm sure Kent means well, but... Ah! Anything else for you, sir? Huh? Off the bridge, move! Oh, Jesus! Oh, look out, look out, look out! Oh! Isat, what? Ooh, the alien, jeez, you think, what she's going... Is? Yeah, dude, he's got a whole lot of cables. My god, look at him! Go, Superman, go! That's a hero! That's a hero! Oh, please. First the bang, now the whimper. Boom! Oh no. Oh my god, he's not holding the bridge! He's tearing it down! Run! Run! Beautiful frame, like a Rembrandt. And if my theories are correct, there's icing on this cake. Nobody panic. Take my hands, I'll... Help! 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 Somebody help! Don't hurt me, please. I promise. Rub my arm on my chest. That's it. Huh? You sound hurt. Are you hurt? What's wrong? I don't know. The Demolition Man? Failed rescue of delivered Sabash, a witness outlets to one ship to Meta Villages. Offers some match for all finding in investigation. Lothar. Smallville. On the bridge, that's the same pain you felt when you were 15, right? Nausea, fever, sudden weakness. It's not like I can't get through Vuma. That's exactly like what I went through at 15. And Lex was connected to that, too. It's the key. He lived here, and that year we were friends. And you're telling me there's no record of him in Somalia at all? School around him? Country? Clerk? Newspaper files? Purge. Altered or destroyed, hardly beyond a man as rich and powerful as I became. I suppose people remember. I asked around Martha Principal, Goodwill, Lena's family. You'd be surprised how many folks have been encouraged to change the subject when a Luthor's name came up. Rich and powerful, I'm thinking. What? I recognize that million miles there. The only one that says I blame myself. Clark, think back. You tried your best to help Lex. Remember? Ma, I'm home. Can you set the extra place for dinner? Always. How can I always cool today? I see you made a friend. Working on it. This is my mom. Ma, this is Lex Luthor. He's new in class from top Metropolis. Pleased to meet you, Lex. I just made lemonade. Would you like some? No. Okay. Then make yourself at home, sweetie. Clark, can you help me with this jar? Seems awfully old for our ninth grade. That's because he used his placement test to little drivers for a quantum-powered computer that made Mr. Awful so pale. Plus, the principal's holding a grudge because Lex didn't ask permission before fixing the coal furnace in 4 minutes. By inventing and constructing clean building heat pump that could probably win every science award there is. Is that why you're so late? No, we're late because we got detention an hour later for calling Joey Owens and our rectangle during an oral quiz, then bursting into tears. Joey, you're a quarterback? Our dear Lex isn't be very popular. Honestly, I get the feeling he's used to it. You showed him around. I'm pretty sure Lex had never seen farm before that afternoon. I asked him. I asked him. He just grunted. What you putting with? Uh, this old machine, this old milking machine's down again. They don't even make parts for it anymore. I hope I can salvage it. Though I heard you were giving someone to nickel tour. Hi, I'm Jonathan Kent. Low. Hey Pa, would you be okay if I took care of my chores after dinner? They won't take better playing, and that way I can spend time with... What? Shut it off! But you're scaring the devil out of the cow, son. Shut it off. It's twice as efficient now. Why are they scared? Lex, they're cows. Pa, don't be mad. I'm sure Lex was just trying to pitch in and around. Lex, hold up, Lex. Lex, wait! Pa wasn't yelling at you. He was yelling over the noise. Lex, want to see the glue stink? Huh? What do you have to do to get this? Nothing. Have a birthday? My Uncle Kendall sent it. It's a really nice one. Wait, someone gave you this for free? That's how birthdays work. It's a clear night. Can see the Capella star. This is the Auriga constellation. Follow the handle on the little dipper too. I know where Capella is. I'm not stupid. I didn't say you were. You're off by about 6 degrees southwest. Which is the brighter emission, Nebula Orion or Pleiades? Trick question. Pleiades is a refraction nebula, visible by its separated gas and dust, not its actual stars, which tend to be cooler. Very good. I didn't think anyone else in Smallkin knew that. Live and learn. So you're going to open this window or what? And then Mr. Wu is the physics teacher. Mr. Wu argued that there can't be anything on the spectrum between ultraviolet and X-ray, that there's no room, but obviously not that I could base this on anything, but what if he's wrong? Can't be anything, Clark. How do you find this trying to get out of bed this morning? Weird. I figured I'd be freezing out here, but there's a warm current. Probably from the house. My mom called your dad. He said you should stay out as long as you want. Because he cares. I'm never going to fit in here, am I? In Smallville? Sure, I think if you... No, here. What? Hurt? I'm sorry, I thought you were joking. Never mind. You wouldn't understand anyway. Don't be so positive. Yeah, and you only know what feels like. Really, farm boy. Clark, Lex, supper's ready. That boy was good for you. For a while. It just... not that I take you and Mac couldn't, but he got it. Wasn't often I could ease into a real conversation, but when I did, he got it. What it was like to see things no one else on earth had eyes for. Pa, I never had a friend like that. I'm sure, but a man can change in 10 years, Clark. Especially when so fundamentally abused and disturbed as Lex was. You can't say that again. It's hard to believe he's the same guy. Except for the meteorite. Except for that, I always assume it lost it in the fire and the explosion. that afternoon. Now let's talk about that. But what if he didn't? Monday, 6:30 p.m. Notes to self. I have closed Echo Park's lab down ostensibly for refurbishment, so as to align my interference on their part as I work. I have put all employees in double-sided leave. Nice touch that. The bridge test was a gamble. I hated to risk losing a precious piece of green xenomaterial in my possession. However, the payoff exceeded my wildest hopes. Superman's molecular structure, as I suspect, is uniquely vulnerable to the meteorite's radiation. Given prolonged exposure, its rays could all, in likelihood, eliminate it altogether, and to think, isn't even its primary value. As a boy, I stood at this very threshold, and in one bitter moment was denied the culmination of a lifetime's dreams and labors. It has taken me a full decade to reconstruct my design and calculations. Not 10 years later, that moment stands before me again. Activate subspace translator. Discovery of phantom zone, anti-gravity, telepathic sensors. And dear God, success is sweeter than I could ever imagine. So now, on to the next one. This is the spot. As I recall, bulldozers and landscapers overran the wreckage practically the next day. But yeah, this is it. Plus, remember the view? Luthor's house overlooking all of Smallville. I like to think down on purpose, but probably. So, the meteor Lex had isn't buried here. No, I assume it'd been destroyed in the blast, but he must have saved it. And now that you were grown up, he's using it on me. Intentionally this time. Smart. He was a smart boy. You both were. I was just read really fast, man. Lex was born an absolute genius. And what's scary was that his knowledge wasn't limited to lab sciences, thus creating the underpinning of what investigation called deductive reasoning. You can give some examples of deductive deductions and how it follows observation. Lex, Mr. Luther, am I boring you? No, you're boring them. I'm beyond bored. Weirdo. Oh there, you're a young man. No, how dare you? Why do you have to make this material so dry? You want to teach deductive reasoning? Make it relevant. For instance, we know that Paul Cho cut chemistry because there's mud on his shoes, and it only started raining after first period. And we know that Roland McNeely is Lang's sacred admirer because he got the only class schedule that roots him up past her locker at the exact times those frightening gooey notes were left. Jacob Stewart nervously sneaked his paint-freckled key from his belt into his pocket because Jack Tagomi, below that Samsung case, had scratched up his Ford Ranger. Oh God. And let's see who else has secrets. You're trying to pass a man's shirt off as applause the day after you uncouched Spartan spent the night on an educational seminar. Ta-da! Semi after class. But spaz. Sorry. Miss Cameron, I think Lex is just trying to help illustrate. And you too, Mr. Clark Smartmouth Kent. In his way. You know, associating with you isn't exactly improving my social profile. Among Philistines, I'm doing you a major favor. 10 terrorists a week lecture over civics. Please no longs of your arms. Plan to the Republic, the right man of Thomas Paine, great speeches, Franklin Roosevelt. Out. No, see, I wrote up some notes. All you have to do is read, I'm a busy man's son. I don't have time to create a book report. This isn't whatever, shouldn't you be a class? Mrs. Temple calls the high school and tell them there's a turned student in my office. What in the world is this? I don't know. I keep flung it in my wastebasket and stormed out. A vice plan for city government? Wait, is this viable? Kid prank. So did you hear about the coach and Emma Cameron? Lex always played it off, but I could tell what ignored him the worst. What made him feel most alone was the impression pretty much everyone but me had shown him by then. Not just in school, but all over Smallville. Underneath all that sworn and mocking, Lex saw it bright as day on folks' face. It was fear. Not terror, just an ease and sad truth. It's people's fear are afraid of what they don't understand, or at least can't communicate with. That Lex came from money, only creates another social barrier for him. When he's offered designs and financing for a new high school stadium, the administration, already leery of Lex, said thank you, no. Bad move. Right side score, 7 more, Smallville. Water? Here, thanks Clark. Man, we're getting grim out here tonight. Lana, I was wondering if, well, the homecoming dance, it's coming up. I don't already, I sure you don't, but all that line, every time? Lana? Never mind. Jeez, what are you doing out here? It's okay, baby. Next time we'll make it all better after the game. God, how do you get so good all of a sudden? It was a fair question. Bart Sundberg hadn't won a game since the Reagan administration, but they were a juggernaut that night. In fact, everyone's eyes were so glued to the field that the coach could wander relatively unnoticed to the sidelines every minute. Probably say Smallville, but rollouts to the left for a pass. Here's our blades pattern. They wait 1 iota and I guarantee they'll gain 20. Follow it and you'll run to Zolt's fable for 25. You sure, kid? No, it's a coincidence that the score is 49 zip. Yes, I'm sure. Come back in 5 and I'll have your entire third quarter mapped out. The final score set a record in the state. Net their coach, a university position, and bankrupted more than one bookie. A lot of people walk away from that game proud and richer, or both. Catch? Huh? It's not the actual game ball, but it should be. You should earn it. Was it that obvious? To anybody that knows you, right now, be thankful that I'm that list. Lex, I'm asking you as a friend, don't ever do that again. Smallville went undefeated for the rest of the season. I never knew much about Lex's upbringing, but I couldn't have been pleasant. From what little he did, I gather Lex was isolated from his folks, partly from birth. Gwen glanced at his IQ test and they encouraged Lex around the clock to make him rich. They saw him as the next Einstein, and they were underestimating him, so I wish they'd be as concerned with his social and moral developments as they were with his intellectual growth. But his mom died when he was young, and his father was, well, not warm. Lex isn't warm. Couldn't I wait for him? No. Okay. Ignore him, Clark. I ignore him. Clark, I do. Why aren't you at Paul's birthday party? Wasn't invited. Is that a metal detector? Whoa, that's a cool one. There's one in our attic, but it's kinda old. Found some neat coins with it once, though I know where you can look for more. So do I. The bank. This isn't star-brought, Clark. I put months into this. Now installed the last circuits. I didn't bolt it to search for wheat bags for pennies. Then what? Huh? Well, extraterrestrial matter, Clark. I use meteorites to calibrate it to detect anything with a molecular pattern not on this Earth. And if it's willing at you, farm boy, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work! Hey, stop yourself, Lex! It's not right. That's worthless! Worthless! Lex. Stupid and worthless! Uh, uh, uh. You never told me that story. Well, half of us are pretty similar, and every one of them ends with like isolating himself in that house for longer. Eventually, I knew one of the others was going to totally unravel Pa. Either Smallville's smartest boy or its biggest secret. So I made a decision. I'm going to go see Lex. Really? We haven't spent time with him for a week. 2. He's all up in that lab he cobbled together on the side of his house. So what's he doing there? Missing school. Other than that, I couldn't tell you. I tried looking through the walls, but they were lined with lead. I don't know what's in there. He's never let anyone through the door. Makes me afraid he's fooling around with radiation. Though he's got radioactive stuff in Smallville is beyond me. Lex? Lex, it's Clark. I know you're in there. Open up, okay? I want to tell you something. Come on, I brought a peace offering. What could you possibly have to do interest me? Come in. Holy cow, you made all this? Out of the best spite and bowling wires Smallville had to offer, farm boy. I had a confession to make. I was hoping you'd come by to be my witness. And that you'd bring something to take note with. Because if you were reporter Clark, you'd need a puzzler tonight. Translation? This is it, Clark. This is the week by Friday, certainly, at the latest. Everything I've labored for my entire life is going to pay off. Do you hear me? Clark, I'm going to make history. Slower. No, faster, and further across the stars at better than light speed, Clark. And you are there. Where? Do you know why? Of all the amazing cutting-edge technocentric cities on Earth, I can do this Jerkwaterberg. I'm silly your dad moved here. No, I moved him. Years ago, while traveling, I learned something in Smallville. Something that validated every single theory I ever had that we're not alone in this universe. Uh-oh. See for yourself that the radioscopic receiver more sophisticated than anything ever envisioned was built around it. All that's left is a finished transformer that will allow me to safely create a strong enough electromagnetic field to cut into our world. You know what that is, right? It's a tunnel through time and space. It's also science fiction. If you were Stephen Hawking, yes. Think bigger. Clark, start writing. 17-year-old in podunk verifies physics. I figured out a way to open a portal into the past of another galaxy. What I've discovered will act as a beacon across the universe to allow us to trace and make contact with its solar origin. It, Lex, what is that it? This meteorite inside this lead box is the heart of the entire apparatus. It gives off unique radiation that is inexplicably clean, Clark, and as impossible as it sounds, completely harmless. No, not completely. It didn't matter that I was speechless. I didn't know any words to describe the way the meteor rays hit me. It was as if my blood had been replaced by bacteria acid. Like all the gravity I ignored over the years had suddenly decided to yank my muscle from my bones. I'd never felt anything at all like it. I'm sure my face was a mask of object pain. But the worst part was... That's not the way Lex read my expression. You ignorant jackass. Get away from me. Lex, it's not you. Shut up, you stupid heck fanboy. I don't think I know what that look. Lex, you don't understand. I understand completely now. You're just like the rest of them. You're afraid of me because you think I'm a freak. Fine, get out. I'll tell you to go to hell, you pathetic yokel, but you're already live here. Well, this backwater cannot punish me by dragging me out down with it. As of this moment, you and your current parents and all of Smallville, that's all it is as far as I'm concerned. You hear me? Nothing good will ever come out of this town. But Lex Luthor, nothing! Tonight, now, we're at the electricals and bypass breakers 2 and 4, and I can. Lex, I'm sorry, let me in. The Progrid, oh god, what's he doing? Lex, that's it, almost. Contact. Yeah, I did it. I really overload. You feel pressure. No! The computer! All my notes! Got the meteorite. Son! Help me! Altis, and I was absolutely the lucky one. The explosion had flung me hundreds of feet away. I wasn't really hurt, but my strength was totally gone. Only my strength. Not my super hearing and my X-ray vision. Those worked just fine. By the time the volunteer fire department arrived, everything, including X-Factor, was cinder and ash. I black out, but not before I heard screaming at the fireman. Charlie, over here, Luthor boy pointing. Hey, but he's alive, son, relax. Relax, don't you touch me! You did this over. Why isn't helping you? He's in shock. You could have saved my father. You could have saved my house. But no, you sat around, you cracked barrel and watched those Luthors burning. Was it interesting? Son, we gotta go fast. Charlie, hold him, he's getting away. Kid, come back. Jack, come back. That was the last time anyone in town ever heard from Lex Luthor. Directly, anyway. Next day, while I watched the construction and hazmat teams, he hired all but stalled the earth to eradicate any evidence of his figurative footprints. 10 years later, he doesn't care about where he steps or on who. It's not your fault, Clark. Whatever Lex's hardships were, the darkness was inside him before you ever met. I don't care if he's more charming now or more articulate. Lex chose to make himself into the man he is today. If you still want to take responsibility for him, then consider stopping him before he hurts anyone else. And hope he doesn't see through my disguise. He's not looking, Clark, remember? Nothing good will ever come out of this hick town but Lex Luthor. Hopefully, so long as you're always extra careful around Lex on both your identities. Even if you wanted to link Superman to Smallville, his ego wouldn't allow it. There's always that danger though. It's a dangerous job. Unfortunately, you're damn good at it. Metropolis. Morning, Jim. How was your weekend, Jim? Too good to be true. You know he was. What we know? What's that about? Lois? Mr. White, I've been away a couple of days. I missed him. Thing knows what. Earth attack. Luthor provides photo evidence on short with film request. Pentagon for the just first. Thank God. What? And that was chapter 8. And well, it's a good place to stop, because I hopefully I can finish it next time. Yeah, as I've said before, I'm appreciating more of the book now reading it again. It already has the strengths that I knew before, where it's we interrupt remixing of old Superman story in an interesting way, like these old Lex in that was an old Silver Age story and everything. Also, I do acknowledge the fact that this Luthor, if you are, you know, Batman v Superman is not a very good movie for a lot of reasons, but Luthor from that movie, you can just see that they looked at this and like, you went to a young Luthor. Oh, he looks like that. All right. Like when they were doing Man of Steel and everything, we need an origin. Should include Luthor, better save for later. And should just put the Lex from this story in the present from that, which is one of the problems, not the worst, but one of them. Like this one being a maniac makes sense when he's like a teenager. Is there a teenager? He's like 20 something. Weirdo. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, I think my Lex voice kind of decreased a little during the monologues. I'm sorry. Yes, it's at the beginning with the scene becomes more both sadder and funnier every year, if I must, with his stupid fighting and his again. Even I think he knew even hurt. Also, this joke is hilarious. I tried to read it out loud. The final point is, I can't fire. I don't know how to hide a body. It's just a stupid joke. It's funny. Whenever little characters appear, I just have to think of a weird accent real fast. Like when he's saving people on the bridge and everything. Also, I forgot like sings here. I just started to do a melody and everything. Also, this shows him as like younger. I don't know if that was a mistake. I think it's like. Yes, that shows him as like a little kid. I don't know if it's. I think it's true that he was like he said, like a 12-year-old or something. Maybe like he moved there as a 12, but he continued until he was like 16. Well, instead, some of the things take years. Maybe it was like that. And yes, he started using all of the alienation stuff. And it's still a bit relevant. A bit, it's quite relevant. Yes, the bit where it doesn't part, it's very specific, but it's an interesting idea. Or like, don't worry, gives a shit about that. Yeah, and yes, both this scene where like people don't care about don't pay attention to Clark and eventually, I mentioned before the like bricks of logic, about Superman. This is also an example of that where like, it's slowly even why people don't connect Clark with Superman. Well, they think Clark's boring. Also, it's not a thing where people say, "Oh, Clark's a performance." No, I think it's just he's himself uninteresting in normal life. Like when nowadays when he's with Lois and he's married, she appreciates him being more calm and everything. But most people think, oh, that case is a square. Who cares about him? He doesn't get invited to parties, is what I'm trying to say. But Superman does. Yes, I would say, I think that was one of the first stories I remember, this one was the first stories I read of Superman. In comics, I think I watched some cartoons before. It's funny that this shows the effects of kryptonite. I remember getting confused if kryptonite took away his powers or just made him sick. This show now it made him sick. Like the description from the flashback is like very vivid, very well written. Like it feels like all the disease that he can't get normally due to being Kryptonian. Like this description is really good. Anytime I'm like, I remember when I had like COVID and everything, a couple of years ago, I felt this description where like I feel my blood very rise. Like all the gravity is pushing me even more. Like it's like maximum disease. Yes, this one shows it that that's basically radiation. Also, does it show him as like yes? It seems like there's some where this hat looks yellow here and red. Weird. I should check if the dates change. It's just one of those things where it's a little mistake. Yes, I mentioned the whole small building. People thought they being friends was like to make it more similar to Smallville, which was still going on at the time, but it was more like a reference to Silver Age stories where Superboy and Lex were friends. Like this whole story where with the live explosion where you see him without hair. That's where the Silver Age story is just more exaggerated there, where he's like little just see or some chemicals start burning, and now his hair just melt off his head. That's a bit wrong. No, it's just it burns, and he probably later got bald. Also, it's funny. I think this story suggests that he's like a couple of years older than Clark. I referenced how a lot of this story is now being referenced in Action Comics because Wade is writing a Superboy story. It's funny reading this now because in the stories that are coming out right now, Wade is writing like Superboy adventures. In this one, it's just stories of young Clark Kent, like with no Superboy mention whatsoever. But basically, like more similar to the version from like the movie and everything. Those it even with all the good ideas from here, like the glass moment, he replicates some of that there. Yes, people even point out like Clark's hair is even shorter than his. Also, Assaulter has hair. And that's in Smallville they do the thing where it's like bald at 18, which is a bit sad. No, some people can be bald. I'll probably be bald in a couple of years. And yes, you can see the cartoons. Sorry, I made a mistake. I thought the teacher. I looked at the teacher for a second. And I thought it was a man, but no, it's a woman. I just gave it. Some older woman can have like the voice. I just try to keep the a sterner voice. Yes, this nothing. I could also mention the connection to Soulmill. This has the thing where his fire moves. It's not completely connected. Also because this origin has been slightly ignored in more recent stories. This is now considered like a isolated story that doesn't connect to more recent stories. Like I mentioned, this doesn't have Superboy. Wade is literally writing the Superboy stories right now. But it's funny. This has the only reference to Smallville is Luthor Sr. Being like a rich guy. A couple of years ago, they tried to do because I say rich guy is richer than the rest of Smallville. In Secret Origins, they keep a bit of that where he's like a bit richer. And a couple of years ago, during a Justice League run written by Scott Snyder, they tried to mix both, because in Secret Origins he's like a drunk guy, where it's like he was a rich guy, and he started to work with I think it was Vandal Savage, and he did a bunch of experiments with aliens, but then they didn't like his results, so they destroyed his mind and sent him to Smallville. So they kept him being a rich genius, but his brain melted, basically. So that's a solution to join both origins, which I think it's a bit overcomplicated. It's a bit clever. I appreciate when you just, how do these versions connect? They just work. They just do. It happens with Supergirl's parents. Out there were like there are normal people just to adopt her. Then they were introduced as like government agents. But now they're also normal people. It's just they were normal people, but they were secretly government agents. Not to have a calm life again. It's one of those things where like it's complicated when you explain it. In practice, it's fine. And what I do? I jump to the monologue. I don't know how much I should research after reading this. How much of it's very out the. It's also something from. I would say at the time. Now they don't do as much anymore. We're like trying to connect comic book powers to science. This one's like really from another planet. Serious beings from another planet. Evolve have different abilities. So Superman could make sense. Like I think the controlling the gravity, that was like controlling the gravitational field. That was something that they played with Superman in the 90s also. I was like, how to explain the flying scientific? Why it's kind of a control of radiation, and gravity is a kind of radiation, except not. It's only when people try to explain Superman's parents powers more scientific. That sometimes can work, sometimes doesn't. And as I've said before, I think I'm appreciating the art more. I think it really puts the emphasis where you can see like Clark being distinct from everyone else with his blue suit, but you can see the rest of the world being more gritty and detailed. I think it really works. Also, I really like. They do the thing. Yes, I like what they do. The thing where like, he's like has like gray hair on in present day and brown before and like and less and less aging lines. And the Taekwondo voice, yes, I just try to do younger where I do the voice I do before, but a little bit higher. Luthor was where I'm doing the one, but it's a little bit higher. And he's almost pretending to not be a giant asshole. Where, I say almost. Where he doesn't quite know how much of an asshole he can be. With allowing for people to steal, to don't hate him. Where now, or in the present day, he doesn't care. Also, I like doing the scream. That's just, I like doing it doesn't work. If I'm planning, it's a plan. I have an idea where I've been posting some of these on YouTube. I've been doing long form videos. I might make some shorts out there. I get one of the good scenes. I say good. It's very, all the scenes are well written, but some of the ones that jump out more. And try to do a whole short. Let's see if I can just do it on YouTube or if I have to add later. And well, let's see. I could just finish by saying, oh yeah, if some of this story feels familiar with like is an alien, that the director of the recent movie, James Gunn, literally pointed to it like, I love this story, Superman Birthright, I'm using some of this here. And some people said, well, wait, but it's different. Yes, use it as an idea. Also, the thing, let me confirm, yeah, they do a cool thing where like the flashback panels have black borders, as if they're being rubber. It's also really interesting where like the yes, the story doesn't do the really reliable narrator, but like Clark is telling the stories. You can only imagine that like he's imagining Luthor as worse than he was. We'll continue next time, hopefully until the end. Yeah, have a good day.